everybody, welcome back. Saturday in the shop again, and we're gonna get back on this ShovelHead bobber rebuild. Not 100% sure what we're gonna tackle today. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is get working on the forward controls. Well, they'll actually be like maybe central controls. We're not gonna do mids, but I'm gonna make the forward controls kind of backward from how you normally make them. So instead of having the pegs push forward of the mounts on the frame, they'll actually be pushed to the rear somewhat. So be a little bit of a closer reach. I don't like being really super stretched out, so that's what we're gonna do there. And then we get that figured out. I don't know, maybe we'll start to look at possible exhaust options. I want to get the foot peg on before I start messing with exhaust, so I can see where my legs are going to be and all that stuff. So I don't know, we'll see what the day brings, but plan right now is to get looking at these foot controls, and we'll have to make some shifter arm, no rear brake on the foot actually, because we're going to have a master cylinder on the handlebars and no front brake. So I just like the way that works better. I like having a handbrake, and when I run only a single brake, I always put it on the bars instead of on the feet. So that's where we're at. We're gonna jump over on the plasma table and start cutting some parts. So there we go, we got our plate roughed out. Head over to the sander, get this cleaned up, and then drill out these holes to a 3/8 through bolt. We'll be able to test fit this onto the frame. Alright, we're all drilled out. I'll grab my deburring tool, we'll deburr these holes, and then go over and fit it up on the bike. Alright, so we're going to get this left side forward control mounted up here. Got a little bit off on this bottom hole. We'll have to machine that out to get it to clear, but no big deal. We can use the 2 for right now. And we're going to try and decide on our foot pegs. So I originally bought some of these, which I kind of like. Obviously this mount isn't going to work because we need to have a shifter on it. So I'm thinking what I'll do is machine up a piece of round aluminum, make a stub so we can get our shift lever, and then we'll take the round aluminum, cut a couple flats on it, so that the peg, you can see how this peg goes in. So we'll have a piece of round bar with our, so basically it's just going to be a piece of round bar, a couple flats cut on it, and we'll be able to mount our pegs. We'll do the same thing on the other side. It'll just be a piece of round bar with the flats cut on it. No need for a shoulder or anything for the brake pedal, because there's not going to be a brake pedal. So this side will be the more complicated side. So I think we'll start with this. Alright, so our radius here is 1 1/4, so we're going to start with a piece of 1 1/4 round bar. Just going to draw up our little design so we know what to cut on the lathe. So we'll have 1 1/4, and then that's going to step down size this square needs to be. Okay, so this is 5/8. So we're going to step the first shoulder down, which is going to be where the shifter pivot is. We're going to step that down to 8/75. And then from there, we're going to cut a square on here that's going to be 6/25. So now we just need to figure out our lengths, which really is determined just by how far we want our peg to stick out. So I think we want our peg about here. So this shoulder is going to be 3/4. The shifter pivot, we want to have a nice wide piece, so we'll go 1 inch with that. That way you don't have too much slop side to side on your shifter pivot. So that's going to give us 1 3/4. Plus we need some square this long. So this is 1 3/4. So that's another 175. So we got 3.5 inches total length. This is going to be a square 6/25. So we'll probably just cut this whole thing to 8/75. And then, let me see here. So if we got .875 minus 0.625 is 1/4 inch. So then we'll just need to cut an 1/8 inch off of all the sides to make a square 6/25. So that'll be nice and easy. And it doesn't have to be a square as long as it's got the flats. This peg will slip on there. Even if the corners are heavily radiused, it'll still catch on here and not pivot. So that's really our only concern. So got that figured out. I don't know that we're going to be able to get to the mill today. We got a mess going on in the shop, but we'll at least get the round stuff machined up there. You can see our little design, you know, real basic. Oh, also this end here, we'll get a 3/8 16 tap hole. So got to remember that. So all right, we're going to jump over on the lathe and start making this piece. All right, so we're going to start off, we'll face this end, we'll center drill it. Actually, no, this side won't get center drilled. We're just going to face this off and then start turning our dimensions. Alright, so our first set of operations is complete. We went ahead and made a little focus, there we go. Made a little mark at 1'75". That's where we know we got to cut our flats. We got a little groove here for a grease groove for our pivot point. And on the fly, I added an extra 1/4 inch of length here because we're going to need to make a 1/4 inch jam nut. We'll thread this 7/8 thread so that when the pivot goes on, we'll put that jam nut, red Loctite that in place, and that'll keep it from being able to slide off, and then the foot peg will go on. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. We'll flip it around in the lathe. Got a couple more little things we got to do. Alright, so we got our part cut off. So in order to cut our square on here, the easiest way to do that is to use a square collet block. So I got this collet block set up with a 3/4 inch collet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn a 3/4 inch nose on here, which is just going to be a sacrificial part. We'll cut this to our 3/4 inch dimension from our drawing. We'll turn the 3/4 nose, which we'll then use to hold this in here. Once we put it in the mill, cut our flats, we'll put this back in the lathe, cut the sacrificial nose off, drill and tap for our 3/8/16. So it's I guess it's a little bit of a complicated procedure to make something sort of simple, but I don't know. I like making all these parts. I could buy a set of foot controls for 250 bucks, but I like having unique stuff, and I think it comes out cleaner and better putting the extra time and effort into it. So. Alright, so we got our part here in our collet block, locked down nice and tight, and ready to go in the mill. Unfortunately, we are not going to be getting it into the mill today because we got a truck frame laying in front of the mill and I just can't get to it. So anyway, I'm going to I guess move on to make the pivot point and shifter pedal at this time, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, we got our little pivot bushing. This is what's going to hold our shift peg, or our shift arm. So we need to go measure and order a bushing for this, and then we'll draw up our shift arm and get that cut on the plasma. Alright guys, so we're going to draw up this shift arm. It's going to be pretty simple. We've got our 1¼ inch pivot material. So we'll start out with 1.75. Then we'll put our center in here that we're going to use to drill. Let's see, we'll go 1.25. Then we're just going to build off of here. Pretty simple. Probably make our shift arm. Let's see. How long is a shifter? About 6 inches probably, I'm thinking. I don't know where our tape measure is, but yeah, that's about. Don't you think, Tom? 6 inch, the foot shifter from the pivot to the thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. So we'll go here. We'll make this a 3/4 inch, 0.75. Then we'll connect this.
You want something up on that lift? You might do Tuesday, that sport bike, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess throw that up there. Just, yeah, I need to look at it. That's fine.
I don't know, yeah, I don't know what
And
out there.
that's nothing. I mean, that'll be good.
Right.
There's also a license plate in the saddlebag of that red Yamaha. Would you put that, or have Christian put that on the bike for me?
The V-Star?
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, you are still okay.
So we got this drawn up here. It's going to be our main arm, and then coming up on a slight angle will be the shift linkage arm. Normally I make these out of 2 pieces, but I think I'm just going to make this out of a single piece. Make things a little simpler. And we'll make this 4 inches tall. And we'll go 35 degrees. Nah, it's too much. Go 25. There we go. We'll change this circle to 0.75. And then we'll put another circle in here for our bolt, which will be 0.275. And then we're going to tie these together. Actually, I'm still thinking that angle's too much, so I'm going to go ahead and move this over like this. Yeah, I'm liking that better. That way when this kicks up, okay, so let's see here. I'll go from here to here. And then we'll go from here. Do you like this line here in or out? You know, that's the shifter, and then the part that goes up for the shifter.
I think out looks pretty cool.
I know. My original thought was in, but
Yeah,
now
like
I kind of like that better.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, so we'll go with that. Trim all this crap out of here.
What's that for the shovel head?
Yeah. And we'll add some fillets. There we go. So it'll end up on the bike kind of sitting like this. And we'll weld our pivot point into here. Nice, quick, simple piece. We'll end up cutting this out of some either 1/4 inch or 3/8 aluminum, maybe 1/4 inch, and add that to the bike once we get our milling machine cleared off, and we can finish up our foot controls. Hopefully maybe next week or the week after we'll get to that, just depending on what else we got going on. So alright guys, that's a wrap for today. Not a ton of progress or visible progress, but lots of little pieces and parts made. This is kind of really tedious work that we're doing here. Machining all these parts takes time, and I only have a few hours every Saturday to work on this project, so I'm happy with what we got done, and looking forward to getting the parts in the milling machine and getting them finished up and being able to sit on the bike. You know, we got the seat done already, we got our bars on, and just see how it fits. I think this is going to be a real good fit, having the pegs back about 3 inches from a normal set of forward controls. So anyway, we're pumped on that. Please don't forget to check out the giveaway bike details. Really want to get this rolling. Cannot seem to get any traction on that, so please check that out. And that's it. We're going to get out of here. Appreciate you guys, as always, spending a little time checking out what we're doing. And we hope to see you next time at Gaddy's Garage.